using too much of your this one to say how it should be done, how it should not be done, who will be the party to the whole thing, who will be not there. I need to be careful which people I need to see to it that I'm trying to tell this whole thing in the right way so that they understand it in the right way. So you're full time in the worldly things and on how to manipulation. The word manipulation looks to be a very extreme negative sense word, but full time we are sitting and trying to manipulate the situation. I don't know how to, meaning getting out of it by staying inside it is still a point which I have not been able to completely comprehend. There's a difference in the way I look at work now. I don't get internally too much affected, but still the actions that we are taking is most often trying to see what is the right way to do. Okay, of course, I also look at it, what is the right way to do for ABB, but then I'm also looking at how I should state this so that somebody else is going to take what I am saying in the right way so that I don't spoil the whole environment of this one not being taken. And these kinds of things are still, they are still running. I don't know, this is something whether you really can do it doing all this work, or should you really get out of it wherein you are not connected to any of these things, and only then you will feel that you're doing the right thing. Because I still feel during my office times, I am still sitting and trying to find out what would be the right way to do certain things, because there are certain people, because you already know what they feel about it. And there is an event that is going on Vilas. I'm not able to discuss that because I'm under an NDA. But what I am saying is, since we are talking about all these things, we are in a very careful position. What should be the best way to tell things so that, and you're always in that position. There are two views. You have to take stand of one of the views which you believe is good for ABB. There we are right, but then you're in that manipulative mode. So,
yeah,
but whether this kind of manipulation and all are right when we want to walk in this path, whether this is right.
No, it is like this. If there are two kinds of manipulation. Hi Lata, morning, and you gave a subject and you ran away.
I didn't run. Sorry. I had one more thing. I came to log in, and then I remembered that one more thing I have to do. So I went back to the kitchen. That's why.
Okay.
7 minutes.
Okay. So I thought that you gave a subject and you just felt that, okay, let's see what happens. Anyway, coming back to your point, Padmashri, this is this way. Manipulation is a requirement if there is something called as Jagat or world. So two kinds of manipulation happens. One is a manipulation for good and one for manipulation for bad. Manipulation for bad generally is selfish oriented or self-centered oriented, where the person becomes a real miser, doesn't want to give up anything at all to anyone, because he or she has a innate sense of fear or insecurity, and he wants to or she wants to be on top of everything so that that insecurity can be addressed. This is on the negative side of manipulation. And on the positive side of manipulation, if you see whatever is required to be done and how it should be said and not to hurt somebody and this and that, making it much more pronounced, be direct or what I can say, assertive as rather than aggressive, all those comes under the positive manipulation. Now when we manipulate something in this world, it comes up with fruits of action. Okay, in that fruit of action, you get a punya phala when we do the same manipulation with a noble intent for others or for the job or for whatever we are doing. I'm taking a salary and I'm doing something. So that is good for the office and good for the organization, and I need to take certain actions and all that. So then it becomes a manipulation of good, which will give rebirth for sure, but in a better level of existence. And if I were to do it only self centered to myself and try to bring down others and all that, and that gives rise to many other different kind of bad deeds which I will be doing. So that manipulation is going to give me papa phala, so which will be sinful. So some of them will have saintly qualities and some of them will have the sinner qualities, but both are manipulation. Now for a person who would like to look for liberation from the samsara, that means he is like to look at removing of manipulation itself in any form, whether good form or bad form. Then that person has to take a break for long period of time, complete his journey and come back. So from the job world, from the um, materialistic world, for time being that person has to come out of it. He cannot do while still researching how he or she can stop manipulation and also be in that same role. Both are not possible. So what is the yardstick of doing it? The yardstick of doing it is that if you are comfortable in life and you know you've crossed a certain period and you can just be whatever it is, however it is, and then you can manage your life with that income or whatever has been made, and then you know that you will again get an employment or something sometime later. So I'm taking like a sabbatical of 1 year or whatever that 1 or 2 years, and I do that and complete my spiritual essence, because that is most important. This is not at all that important because this is a repetitive process. So now I'm now coming closer to 50, and another 10 years I will be in 60. So the work or salary or whatever I could have earned would be for next 12 years, let's say, or another 5 more years. So 12 plus 5, 17 more years. That's all it would be, not more than that. And after that the health crisis will start, and then the person is unable to work on spirituality, and the next life is definitely made with all of this manipulation. What has been made, he will either go to a good realm of existence or a bad realm of existence. So if we are ready to do that, meaning we know that it is a repetitive process and we know that we have sufficiently stayed there, and then would like to cut off, considering the fact that everything has been done to whatever has to be done. See, the thing is that should I quit when my family is in deep distress of money? No, you shouldn't do it. So then do only good manipulation rather than bad manipulation. But I know it very well that the family is able to sustain and I am able to sustain my living, and it is a repetitive process forever, in this life and next life and next life and next life, like that. Knowing it very well, I should come out of it as a sabbatical of few years till I complete the journey. Okay, so that is the reason the process was after 50 years you get into vanaprastha, because this is a repetitive process. Nothing is going to change there. If we engage, we either have to manipulate in good way or bad way. There is no other way where somebody can be sthita prajna, as what Krishna speaks, unless he becomes like Krishna. That means the person should have had complete liberation, and then he comes back and just performs as a role or as an acting rather than taking it too seriously. So, to answer to your question, number one, manipulation is a must. If the world is there, world is made out of manipulation. What is this manipulation? Let us say it is raining. You have to have an umbrella. It is manipulation. You are manipulating the rainwater should not hit you. If it is too cold, you have a heater. It's again a manipulation. So all the five elements are being manipulated to make oneself comfortable. So there's nothing wrong in that. So
I think you answered my question, Vilas. I think this is because I was always considering even these facts like making ourselves comfortable in a non-comfortable situation, unless otherwise a non-comfortable situation is also a manipulation.
Yes. Everything in life is a manipulation, and it is, you cannot survive without manipulation. So actually, Mahavira went on the other extreme of non-manipulation. That is, he will not do anything. He will not take bath. He will not brush his teeth. He will keep on pulling out his hair. All of that. It is an extreme form of tapasya or austerity, and he did not wanted to do anything of manipulation because uh, it is all based on karma. So now, if you manipulate, you either get good karma or bad karma. So what he thought is that I should not manipulate. To an extent that brushing of teeth is also a manipulation, which is in other words, it is very true. Brushing of teeth is a manipulation because you are manipulating. The original thing is to smell, but I'm making sure that I apply some toothpaste to my mouth so that it doesn't smell. Taking bath is a manipulation because by body it is supposed to smell. So it's again a manipulation. So nothing in this world can be done without manipulation. But the mind, what we are manipulating, should be towards good and noble intention rather than non-noble intentions while working or while doing anything. Then once a particular state is reached, come to neutrality, which is what the sthita prajna is all about, for which you have to disengage for some time. Without disengaging, you cannot do it. Okay. So Lata, so that was her question about manipulation. Now coming to your question on mantra. So I thought about doing a deeper insight overview into the five senses and how mind manipulates. And then we can see what really happens. Again, the word manipulates. So the mind manipulates on the five elements. So your question was that the mantra can help or certain diseases like in BP, diabetes, heart disease, fever, etc. So now we need to understand that what is a mantra. So the definition of that is manana trayate iti mantra. What is continuously repeated in the mind is mantra. Now when we talk, the voice which is coming to all of you is called as sound. So there is some sound and there is sound everywhere. So let's understand what is this sound all about. Sound is about oscillation, and when something oscillates at a particular speed, it creates certain temperature, and that temperature creates radiation, and that radiation creates a kind of vibration, and these vibrations which happen in Sanskrit, it is called as kampana, and even in the All India Radio they talk about kampana. which is vibration. So these waves, meaning this sound, this oscillation, then create a wave pattern by manipulating the water element, the fire element, and the earth element, and through movement caused by the air element, that is Prithvi, Apo, Vayu, Tejo, in Akasha, create sound. And there are two kinds of sound, one at above 20 kilohertz and one below 20 kilohertz. So the above ones are called as ultrasound and the below ones are called as infrasound. And certain animals have a good hearing capacity of infrasounds as well, because they can see it like an energy radiation or color differentiation in sound. So basically, the atmospheric pressure, meaning there is a pressure created when there is oscillation, and hence sound gets created. And sound cannot happen without space. So the space should be there for sound to exist, otherwise this vibration will not happen. It will remain as is condition. That means without kampana, without vibration, there cannot be any heat, and without there is any heat, there cannot be any oscillation, and without oscillation, nothing can happen. Okay. Now this principle, when applied to human body, what does human body consist of? It consists of the same Prithvi, Apo, Vayu, Tejo within a space called as Akasha. So now the body has the same vibration, kampana. For kampana to happen, you require the heat. So we have Ushna and Tikshna. That is, there is this extreme heat, warmth, and coldness, all happening within some ranges. That means when I keep my feet on the ground, if the ground is cold, the leg or the feet, what is touching to the ground, will keep on transmitting the electrons will start to dissipate the cold waves from the ground, and it comes to the body, and body's hot waves will go into the ground, and then this transmission happening is kampana. There is oscillation. So due to this oscillation, the ground becomes hot or rather warm, and my leg becomes cold. So even though the other parts of the body are warm, but that part of the body which has touched the feet to the ground is cold, and you can observe. So this is all about observation. And the change has happened because of the kampana again. Now, using this principle, certain meter were created. As in the case of Gayatri, it has a particular meter called as Gayatri meter, and something similar. There are other meters as well. And then we also spoke about universe, and in that the verse is again a meter, or it can be taken as a line. So when we use certain words and certain expressions, as in Sanskrit, as in Pali, as in other Indic languages, not English, the Indian languages, they have a particular depth of frequency in that. And this depth of frequency have a higher oscillation, and it can cut through the solid objects and make it more liquid centric rather than being solid. So let's say there is a plaque in the arteries, and then by uttering Vishnu Sahasranama, starting from Vishwam Vishnur Vashatkaro until the end, without that Falastuti and all that. If we were to do it watching the breath, and then this person starts saying that, and he continues doing that for 3 times in succession, the heat what gets generated by Vishnu Sahasranama will then be able to melt that plaque. So it is actually sodium which has got uh, caught up in that artery or in the blood vessel or whatever it is. But these are cells. So basically what is being done is that there is this vibration getting created, more than 20 kilohertz. So any ultra sound or ultrasonic waves that get created will be more than 110 kilohertz. So this will go like sound, which will then cut across this plaque which have been formed, and the sodium ions starts to dissipate, and it will then give up the phosphate. So if you have studied biology, there is ATP and ADP. I don't know whether you remember those in the college days. Uh, so there is triphosphate and diphosphate. So the food which gets generated, these energy particles will keep on pressing on that, and that's makes the dissipation happen. So the ions will start to change, and it breaks. And because of that breaking, the plaque which was formed out of sodium will lose its property, and it merges because it becomes more watery because of the heat. So a heat over a solid and a liquid makes it a slimy substance. So now the blood can freely flow. So instead of going by a cardiologist who would recommend and bypass, and he would like to cut the artery from another place and connect it to this heart and do all of that, this person, by saying Vishnu Sahasranama thrice, can really remove the plaque, wherever it has happened, from the tip of the toe to his head, wherever that has happened, it can be removed without having to get into any doctor at all. This is possible. So the BP or the blood pressure variation wouldn't happen because the oscillation wouldn't be at that rate. It would be at a much lesser rate, and hence there is no danger. So this is what I wanted to tell you on this part. Any questions on this?
Okay. Okay. I think this you have told once.
Yes, I
Vishnu
don't.
Sahasranama.
Yes, I had informed once, but then it was a good question of yours.
Yeah. So, but that is for. So Vishnu Sahasranama is for removing this thing, the clots or whatever that substance. But what about the other diseases?
See,
so the same way, this is some other mantras for that, or the same thing only?
No, any mantra will provide it, and Vishnu Sahasranama mantra will help in removing the plaque in the system. And by meditation, the diabetes will not be there. because the stress is gone. Okay, so what is happening is the sugar molecules which are getting absorbed will reduce because there is no need for there is no anxiety, right? So there is no anxiety, there is no real requirement of so much of sugar production in the body. That is, the energy need not be created so much. So, and then the cortisol, which is a stress hormone, that doesn't have to keep on generating. And because of that, there wouldn't be any problem at all. Meaning the sugar problem will automatically go away. So if there is no sugar problem, then the BP also will be normal. The only problem is with the heart, and the liver problem would have come because of the reason that the excess sugar or the bile has to get generated more, and it keeps on burning the blood. So due to uttering of any mantra, this mantra or that mantra, so any mantra, it would help in letting go or reduction of that problem. So
But this is also good manipulation only, no less.
This is also manipulation. Everything is manipulation, Padmashri. Life is full of manipulation.
So this is for the diseases, whatever. So, but then when you are uttering this mantra, then you need to have that sankalpa, is it? Or you simply utter, then it will come.
No. Now the question comes is that anybody uttering, will they get it? No.
Yeah, that's what my question is. You need to have that sankalpa and intention.
Not only that, you need to have highest amount of morality. Then only this works. So first what I need to do is that I need to have yama and niyama to a greater extent set up. So what I should be doing before the tapas of that. So now I'm doing a tapascharya of this, right? So now what I need to do is I need to set up the ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, and then shaucha, santoshas, tapas, swadhyaya, ishvara, pranidhana. All the 10 I have to make it to at least 50 or 60% clarity or following that. Then apply this mantra, whatever mantra. So then there is a dasa pada which talks about Rama mantrava japiso he manuja. So that is another. So if you keep on uttering Rama, 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 Rama like that for 10,000 8 times or 1 lakh 8 times or whatever number of times that is, the plaque will get removed from the body. So why are we doing this? What is the requirement of this manipulation? This body manipulation we are doing is for brahmacharya. That is, we have this body for liberation only. That is the whole idea, not for enjoyment. So first sankalpa should be that I will maintain this body not for indulgence but for liberation. And I want to stop the agami and the sanchita karma from taking any form. Only it should be prarabdha. So that is the second sankalpa. So for these two sankalpas, I am going to purify the bhuta, which is by allowing this 5 yamas and 5 niyamas to happen. Then I start manipulating the elements: earth element, water element, air element, fire element, space. Space cannot be manipulated, so I can only manipulate 4 elements. In that 4 element, I can only really do something about fire element and water element. The remaining element cannot be done. So this is the thing what I will do, so that I don't have to worry about the body pain or body not able to sustain before my liberation. So the whole idea is this uh, driverless car or driverless train for which I don't know where I'm heading to, and there are no brakes in this train, and it is definitely going to head for disaster, I will try to jump out of this train at the quickest. Having found there is no driver, having found there is no braking system at all. The only thing I can do is to open the door and jump. So I'm waiting for an opportunity to jump. I can only jump when there is a bridge and below is the water. So I've learned how to swim, and I'm now going to jump into the water and get out of this whole business of rebirth. With that in mind, if I were to do, the prarabdha karma will remain and can be safely manipulated till I attain liberation. After that, whatever diseases are going to come, let it come, and I have already given up the body. So whatever happens, happens, and I will die. There's no problem. This is the whole idea.
Yeah.
So
So same mantra
yeah,
can also be used for liberation, not keeping the body healthy and so on. But you can also have a sankalpa of
yes, you can
something
do that.
else, liberation.
Yes, you can also have for death. You can also have for living. Both are manipulation, but both are for liberation, and liberation itself is a manipulation. See, now the question comes, why should I manipulate? There's nothing you can do without manipulation.
Yeah, otherwise automatically it happens, right? After millions
Automatically it happens, so you don't have to do anything. It will still go and crash. So the object.
But Vilas, here, this is where I have a doubt. Yes, suppose, see, you are having an urgency to do it in the birth that you are in, so you're having that as a sankalpa. But if all the things, if you are following, meaning without getting attached, without having any requirement, and you lead a very moral life, you don't do anything for your own sake. Without the sankalpa also, that person is going to get liberated, right?
No, he will
Why?
no,
But why? No, this I did not understand. Because see, manipulation you are doing because you want to get liberated. But I am telling, all the things that you are doing, you don't even have any desire, even desire of getting liberated. That also you don't have. But the actions are all similar, meaning it's in neutrality, it's in sthita prajna, it is neither good nor bad. You are not manipulating, you don't have any desires of any result, you don't even give importance to anything which is connected to the panchabhuta, not the results of those the sensuality of those, what those things grasp you are in that state, but you don't have any sankalpa. Why? Meaning that you're not thinking that I am doing all these things because I have to get liberated, or in order to get liberated I want to lead this path. But it is just a moral way of living, you lead that path. Right. In that case, why that person should not get liberated, I really did not understand this aspect. Sankalpa is good, but does not mean your actions have no meaning. With the way you live does not have any results because you did not have any desire.
No, what you are explaining, in that case there is already liberation, so there is nothing else is required. I did not understand the first time you explained. Now that what you have explained, you already had done that sankalpa, so there is no need to make another sankalpa. See, the moment you are following the 5 yamas and 5 niyamas, or whatever Shankara says about that sadhana chatusthaya, or whatever Buddha says about 10 kushala deeds, whichever way you follow, if you have 100% mastered it, that is a sankalpa already. So over. Then it will automatically lead you out of the need or desire to do anything. Meaning, the desire for liberation will still be there. You cannot have anything called as there is no desire for liberation. That cannot happen. That would be there. You will have, you will not have the kama raga, but you will have the chanda for getting liberated. That is going to be there. That can never be removed. Now, theoretically speaking, all desires will get extinguished. Now, what kind of desires will get extinguished? All those desires which will manipulate the five elements will get extinguished. But that desire to have the merger with the consciousness will still remain, without which it cannot happen. Otherwise, they both become independent. So, forgetting all of that, if you were to start with 5 yamas and 5 niyamas, if you were to apply it 100%, you will quit the job for sure. It will automatically pull you out of it. It's not about whether you should resign or you should do this or that. It will automatically do that for you. You will not be able to perform all that what the organization is trying to say just to satisfy certain stakeholders. So you'll automatically see the urge to get out of it. So hope I answered that question. I think both of you have become silent. Okay, so next topic I wanted to cover was something interesting about the five elements. Five senses. Okay, so sound, we came to know that space is required and it is oscillation and there is temperature. It moves both the solid and liquid. So that means it's basically five elements there. So when we say sound, it's five elements. Okay, and you have a hearing instrument inside the subtle body called in Sanskrit as Shrota, and English word is ear. As external hearing thing called as an external ear, there is an internal ear. The internal ear can perceive the vibrations, but it can only perceive vibrations which are in between the 20 kilohertz, what I mentioned. Anything above will become a ultrasound, so you cannot hear that. Now what happens? The inner sound box, the inner ear, doesn't have any of these applicability, because that inner ear can become an animal, can become a deva, can become a human, can become whatever. So there is no obligation on the part of that inner ear to become whatever. It becomes whatever based upon the karma done by the mind. So it has ear, then it has nose, it has tongue, or rather the salivation or whatever we want to call. Then it has touch and smell. So Shrota, then Chakshu, Shrota, Ghrana, and Jivha, then Twak. Twak is the skin, and then you have Manas. Basically all of these five senses manipulate. Again, I'm using the word manipulate. It is a self manipulation. It does it by itself. Nothing that you are doing anything there. they manipulate the information which comes from outside. So the inner ear exactly knows the oscillation and the wavering movement of the sound, shabda. Eyes will not be able to notice the waves. Only the ears will be able to notice the waves. And the mind cannot do anything, it is helpless. And that is the reason it is called as Jnana Indriya. That means knowledgeable sense instruments. They exactly know what it is. Nobody can interfere in their activity. So, the inner ear can perceive any type of sound, whereas the external ear, which is controlled by karma, can only take that sound which can be perceived by through it, meaning that through that instrument whatever is possible. If somebody were to bypass this external ear, then he is directly in link with the internal ear, and that becomes divya, divine. So we can say clairaudience. That means he is able to hear sound which are not of this nature. So the frequencies now changes. Uh, there is no hindrance. What the ear can hear now, it can hear anything. So it can hear any voice which is coming either from the down places of existence to the Brahma Loka of existence. He can hear. This is the benefit of the inner ear. So that becomes a Divya Shrota, divine ear. And then coming to the sight. Again, the sight, external sight, reflects the light, and due to rods and cones in the eyes, it is able to place the object, but it places it not in the way we see it, it is upside down. And there is no color. Color is filled by the mind. It is in black and white only. All that we see, all forms that is seen, is by rods and cones, and they can only do black and white. They don't feel any color. So when there is bypassing of this eye directly into the inner eye, the third eye gets opened. These two eyes will become ineffective. And when the third eye gets opened up, it's called clairvoyance. So the person is able to see something which was not seen earlier. So this becomes Divya Chakshu. Then smell. Same 5 elements, but majorly connected with the air element. Okay. And you require Prithvi to certain extent, Apo to certain extent, then the Tejo to certain extent, and then the smell gets created. And the inner nose, not the external one, the inner nose has no dimensions. Any smell is permissible. But the karma what we have made can only sustain certain smells. The remaining smell are all vibrations. In fact, the sight is also vibration, the sound is also vibration, the taste is also vibration, the touch is also vibration, and the smell is also vibration. All are vibration, all are kampana only, having different level of manipulation of the 5 elements. So like that you will have an Divya Grana. That means you can smell anything that is coming from far and near and in any realms of existence. And then the touch and then the taste, like that. Now, depending upon the state of the mind, the five senses can be gross or the five senses can be subtle. Generally, we have only gross impressions, we don't have subtle impressions. Meaning, if we were to touch something, we cannot touch air because we cannot feel it. And you cannot touch space because you cannot feel it. But if it were Divya, you can have both. That gross is bypassed. So what are we trying to say is that each dimensions, each species in that dimension have a different ability to sense their five elements with the five senses. Even though they are the same five senses, due to the dirt in the mind, we can, or those beings can only take those which are given to it by the nature of its own existence. So all of us will be able to see something, hear something, taste something, touch something, but almost all our experiences will be same except for few, and those people can become highly sensitive to the senses. Like in the case of my wife, she can smell anything from far, and that I don't have ability. Only in meditation I can get that, but in general I don't get it. Whereas she can get it at any point in time. And there would be some people who can hear. So the sound will be very overwhelming to them. So they don't want loud music because they already can hear it so loud. So like that. And these things, what comes to us as five senses and five sense objects, overwhelm the being, and that being starts creating the story with these five elements, and that we call as loka. So we have made a loka which looks common to all of us most of the time, or at least 99% of the time. 1% it might not be the same, but 99% it will be same. Only when the person is in having fever or some other diseases or not well or something like that, he will lose that five senses in a normal way. So his senses will go dry. So they will get withdrawn. So the physical senses will not be able to work. And they cannot manipulate the objects the way they were manipulating earlier. So that person will not be able to taste or smell or touch or see or hear or something like that, because the physical ones are no longer able to do anything about it. So what I mean to say is that if there's a deaf person and a dumb person, the deafness and the dumbness is due to the external factor, not due to internal factor. So but still mind can manipulate without having the physical senses. So that means we have a physical sense, we have a mental sense. Physical sense get connected to the brain, mental sense get connected to the mind. And since in science there is no concept of mind, all of these five senses are shown to be connected to the brain, because you can see the reaction happening on each part of the brain. So in when the light comes and then the sight comes, there is something happening in one side of the brain. When the sound comes and when the sound is heard, through the space, then there is certain things get lighted up in the brain, like that on the other three as well. So science believes that there is something happening in the brain, and that's the reason those people who don't believe in rebirth and believe that Atma or the soul or whatever we want to call is in the brain, because you can really see all events are happening in the brain. And since nobody can see the mind, and we know very clearly that when the person dies, his brain is also burnt. So there is no trace of anybody getting transmigrated into another body. And hence, those people don't believe in rebirth. So, if you go by science, then you will know that you cannot believe in rebirth. It's just a hypothesis, or it's just a theory or a concept or an illusion that there is something called as rebirth. Those people who believe in religious way of looking at things and believe in God and all that, and those people might believe in rebirth, because then there is no brain as such, and there is something called as mind, and the mind is with God, and God has built us. That means there should be one soul which is connected to the mind, and this soul will then take the mind into next life, or a new mind comes there, and all of that. So that is another theory or a hypothesis or whatever it is. So you can get these two extreme view of things, because the senses are not seen, the external senses are seen. So if we look at our face carefully, we have two eyes and two ears and two holes, which is the nose, and then the tongue, the lips, all of that, and then the skin. And if we see that we would like to protect this face from any injury, because we love the senses, it's not only with us, any animal, any being, right from God till humans till whoever, would love to protect their face, because the skin texture on the face is totally different than the other part of the body. And then the other four are also enclosed in the face itself. So face basically would depict the kind of personality I am, because all the five senses are there. And using these five senses, physical senses, I am able to manipulate the five sense objects coming from outside. And everything gets focused on the face. So we would like to see the person's way of talking, or nature, personality, all that, looking at his or her face. And if somebody were to lower their eyes below the face, then the person gets worked up. Why is he making his eyes down? So it is treated as either lacking confidence, or this person is seeing something other than the face. So psychologically also we put these five senses into this way. So what basically, if we were to go on a spiritual route, first thing we need to do is to cut the senses and the sense object by seeing what really they are. Truly they are. Truly they are only five elements. So the manipulation is only five elements.
Vilas, just 1 minute. I just remembered something from my younger days when you were telling about these five senses all in the face, and face depicts the what you are inside, right? That
Right.
you said, no? In Tamil, there used to be always there is a proverb which is saying, "Agathin alagu mugathil theriyumanta." Andre agam is that same, that it is derived out of that aham only, but it is that atma. in the same context that it is used as Atma.
Correct.
Atma's beauty is seen in your face, is seen in the face. So now I really understand when you are associating all of them to the face. No, I am now understanding that all in its original form, actually.
Correct. Good thing. So everything we manipulate in this world, called as the world created of five senses, is on the face. So what we need to do spiritually is to disconnect the senses and the sense object. The sense object.
One question. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem.
But what about the touch? So actually, when you are in this gross body, is when you can feel the touch. Actually, when you are in the astral body, I think you have mentioned earlier that we cannot touch anything.
Correct.
The touch is gone.
Touch is gone.
You have four senses.
No. Touch is the internal touch remains, but you cannot feel the grossness.
Okay.
See, all the five senses will remain as five senses, but the gross will go away. You are no longer able to experience the gross. If that is not true, you will not be able to move into another realm of existence at all. So that will be there. See, there is an internal and there is external. The grossness is due to karma. But the subtle one remain as subtle as they were.
Yeah. As they were originally. Okay.
Originally. But when we touch whatever we are touching, if you were to touch your thighs or hand or legs or whatever you want to touch, you'll see there is only temperature. There is nothing to touch, and there is hardness, softness and all that.
Yes.
That is a reality. There is no leg. That is the nama. This is the practice. If you keep on practicing, then the mind will disconnect the senses and the sense object. That is the first step of liberation. You should be able to see sound as sound, taste as taste, touch as touch, sight as sight, smell as smell. Then your mind becomes pure. Then the liberation is done. And that is the reason every scripture talks about five senses, five sense object. The mind is the one which is connecting both of them through consciousness. And we are wasting consciousness, or that being is wasting consciousness in making the mind connect to the sense and the sense object. And it doesn't remain also, because as soon as the thing goes away, that sense also goes away. Meaning, let us say my wife comes inside this room and she goes away by closing the door. In actual sense, the wife is not there. She closed the door and went. Now I'm imagining that she still exists, because memory says that she's there. But reality is she's not there. She's dead. She's gone. Like that, if we are able to see in everything, then five senses will disconnect with five sense object. Then the mind gets pure. Then you will get your original senses, this divya. Now you are having this clairvoyance, clairaudience and all of that. This is what the mantra, all of that will pull you to this. This is the bhakti marga also.
Yeah, this is related to the Buddha Shuddhi.
Correct. This is related to Bhuta Shuddhi.
So for Chitta Shuddhi, you don't need mantras.
Chitta Shuddhi is direct. You don't require anything. You just see what is getting manipulated with what.
Hmm.
And that also will purify the element, so your disease also will not be there.
Yeah.
See, these days, from March till today, whoever is joining on meditation from 5 to 6 and 8:30 to 9:30, they have been continuously coming. And some of the people had diabetes. So then they are testing regularly. They have to go do the testing. And they are able to see that their the fasting sugar and the other sugar has gone down. And they have stopped medication altogether.
Hmm.
So they are only spending 1 hour in a day, basically. The remaining time they are doing whatever they were doing. So their diabetes is cured. And they keep on sharing information with me that today I tested and there is no sugar. Meaning
Okay.
the sugar level. Even my mother-in-law, she has a high BP and she didn't have sugar, but it had raised because of family complications and other thinking of hers, and she's staying here for some time now, and every day she's doing meditation along with me. My wife also joins, my son joins, and everybody we are doing it, and a lot of people join on on Skype. And we tested her random sugar. It has come to 86, and her BP, it used to be in 160 110 range or 100 range or whatever it is. Now it has come to 134 by 81. It's too good.
Hmm.
So it's working. And not that she's
Okay.
sitting all the time like me doing meditation or contemplation, all that. She's worrying, she's doing everything, whatever she was doing earlier. The only thing extra she's doing is, since she's staying here from 5 to 6, she does meditation, and 8:30 to 9:30, she again joins for meditation. So 2 hours she is meditating in a day. And her blood sugar has dropped, and the BP looks most ideal. So if mantra were to be put in that way, she would do really well.
But Vilas, in all this, prarabdha also will play a part, right?
Yes, prarabdha will play a part, but then prarabdha is not only wrong things, right? You see, the thing is that we have both. So we have good karma, we have bad karma. So you can block the bad
No,
karma.
exactly. That is what I'm saying. In your karma, previous karma, whatever you have accumulated, it allows you to get repaired. It will allow. But if the karma is strong to not allow you to get repaired, these meditations might be there, but still it may not get repaired. So
That person will not be able to
meditations or
meditate.
anything is like an instrument.
Correct, that's
Finally,
correct.
all of them should be put together, right?
No, that's correct. But the thing is that if the karma were to be very strong, that person will not be able to meditate. Because that good karma is there, he or she is able to meditate. And once he starts meditation, it becomes stronger. That bad karma will not be able to take shape, even though if it is there.
Yeah, I think if the karma is bad, you will not even get an opportunity to meditate.
Exactly, exactly. So that's what I said. So uh, there is this ability to sit can only happen if the person's karma is good. So we will have both, good and bad. But if we are putting our effort on good, after some time this bija which was there of bad, the seeds, they wouldn't manifest. So prarabdha remains. You will encounter whatever you have to encounter. There is no sanchita and agami karma at all. Okay.
Okay.
So today, 5 senses, 5 elements, and 5 sense objects. 15 things we have spoken in depth.
Yeah, it's true.
And this is what we need to do. Actual speaking, this is what we need to work on spirituality, not on what we are doing as work or job or a home or whatever. We able to see everything as 5 elements and
Yeah,
five
seeing
senses.
is seeing is hearing, and all that. Yes,
Yes.
it looks. So if you don't have a background, if you just say, if you are able to see, seeing as seeing, hearing as hearing, and then you get liberated. It looks very, what do you say, foolish. If somebody has to hear that.
Yeah. Mind adds up things. So mind will say you have a wife. Okay, the site which is coming, is it wife? Even if I were to search for millions of years, I will never find a wife because there is no object called as wife. What you get is Prithvi, Apo, Vayu, Tejo. That's all what you get. And the same Prithvi, Apo, Vayu, Tejo is manipulated as daughter. And the same thing is manipulated as mother. And the same thing is manipulated as a neighbor. The same thing is manipulated as a sister, like that. So these 5 elements get manipulated in the mind, and the mind picks up the concept. So there is a concept of wife, there's a concept of sister, there's a concept of brother, and there's a concept of husband. Everything is a concept, daughter, all of that. So when we really see as is, we find that there's only 5 elements. There is nothing other than 5 elements because the senses cannot identify a wife. It can only identify what is in its front. That's all. It's only 5 elements. That's all what it can do. It cannot do anything else. If there is light, then only the sight will be able to see. Otherwise, no. But the mind can manipulate it, saying that this person who is coming is so and so. Oh, this person is known to me, so he is my friend. That person is not known to me, so I have to know him or her. This person I don't like. He is known to me or she is known to me, but her nature or his nature is not matching to what I have, and that's the reason I dislike. But all the three are sight. There is no distinction in consciousness to say that this is the friend and that is an enemy and this is a neutral. They all are the same as far as consciousness goes. But the mind now is manipulated to believe that this person is a friend, that person is an enemy, and this person is to be known. And then it suffers. Because a friend can become a foe and a foe can become a friend. And that's a problem now. Because it is situational based. And seeing as 5 elements. That's all. There's nothing else other than 5 elements. See, all are oscillation only. Even the sight, what we are seeing, the physical body is an oscillation. Each of the cells are turning and they're moving around and all that. So, even in that, it is physical solidity, liquidity, gaseous, and all that is there. So, the 4 elements are there. So, there is movement. So, there is temperature, there is oscillation, and there is vibration. So what else are we seeing is only oscillation, vibration. So basically everything is fuel and fire, or the Tejas and Ojas. With that a person is liberated completely. Any question or shall we end?
Yeah, good session, Vilas.
No problem. So, hope I did not confuse you or gave as much clarity on the five senses.
No, definitely you did not confuse.
So, we have to look internal five senses, then external five. External five is only five elements. There is no senses. There is nothing called as external five senses. There is only.
So when
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
no.
you will be able to hear that Om sound, that humming
Yes,
sound.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Once your sound, the sense of sound turns divine.
Yes. And that is the original sound.
Hmm.
And it will be like this, Lata, as I had heard some time ago. It is. This is the sound at 110 kilohertz.
Hmm.
And that's the sound is there everywhere, whatever it is called as. And
Humming sound, yeah.
humming sound, and that humming sound is the one which moves these cells and all that. So it keeps on moving objects everywhere, in you, in me, in Padmashri, in my wife, in whoever we see as objects, including inanimate objects also. There is movement. That sound is there. The sound is there.
So, but what is the divine sight? So this is a sound. So sound, different kinds of sound. All the when you're in temples, when you're doing that puja, this arati, so you have that bell and conch and all that. All these sounds are internal sounds, I guess. So they
No,
just made it
these are
external
not
to
internal.
make it.
No, these are not internal. They are external. But the internal sound is that om which comes. So that is this sound with of humming. So it'll be it'll be even more purer than what I said. Like that is my voice modulation. But the actual one is very melodious.
Hmm.
So the
Uh,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So like that, this is the sound, divine sound. So like that, what is the divine sight?
Divine sight is the all the realm of existence. What you see. Like I explained to you last year, I had that complete
Yeah.
realms. Then you get divine smell, meaning you will get smell from heaven to hell, because that is the same sense.
Yeah. So actually, during the meditation also, you can get some bad smell as well as a good smell
Yes, you'll get that.
without anything being there. Yeah.
Yes, without anything being there. There is one girl who meditates. She's in US, and she gets this smell of incense sticks. And there is no incense in her home. Neither in any of the neighborhood they put any incense sticks. But whenever she meditates, only she gets that smell.
Mm.
So this is divine smell, divine touch. That is even more beautiful. It's like you are floating everywhere. So your body becomes lighter than the clouds. That's a divine touch.
Mm.
So sight,
Divine
sound,
taste.
taste. Divine taste would be that whatever you eat, whatever you put in the mouth, it will be like clarified honey. The final taste, that is when even if it is hot, you put it in the mouth. When it is going into the epiglottis, you will feel like honey is going inside. That would be divine taste. Normally, what we eat, you will not have any taste.
Mm.
It's the front of the tongue will taste everything, right?
Yeah. Then there is no taste. Correct.
But in here, you will get taste till the epiglottis.
Mm.
And that's what is the taste. That's divine. then
So
you
this,
will, then
so
you,
you have got all these experiences: divine touch, taste.
not divine touch as yet, but divine taste, not, see, you should get it in all the time. It's not that only once in a while. That means there is some mental problem, meaning the purity is not there.
Mm-hmm.
See, it should happen all the instance. I am working out on that.
Yeah, but anyway, good to know. So in any time, if it happens, then you know what exactly it is.
Yes, and this is when you get vairagya, Lata, because now you see the other things are waste.
Yeah. So this spirit, what is it? This spiritual eye.
What happened? I missed you, I think so. Lata,
I
can,
think there is a problem on Lata's side.
yeah, let's wait.
Or she, without her knowledge, muted it. She seems to be still there.
I think she has a signal problem or network problem. Ah, there she comes.
I got dropped.
Yeah, Lata, you were asking some question.
No. What I was asking is the spiritual eye which I see. Is it the divine sight?
The spiritual eye, what you are seeing, may be divine, may not be divine. If it gets totally purified, you will be able to see what is really divine. You can see all the realms of existence,
Hmm.
not these colors and these vibrations and all that. That is also there. If you go beyond that, you will be able to be there in that realm of existence. And that should happen all the time, I'm telling you. That is not happening with me all the time. This September, it turned 1 year of having that experience.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's so much of work I need to do. At will, I should be able to go to that realm of existence and meet people.
Then come on. Yeah, correct.
But I'm not able to do,
And talk
right?
to them. Yeah. Can talk to them and then come. Yes.
Yes, I should be able to do that. Now I want to go to Vishnu Loka. I can, sitting here, I can go to Vishnu Loka, spend good amount of time and come back. So Vairagya is already done. There's nothing more Vairagya to it. Because you know there is better place than this.
Hmm.
So it automatically happens. There's nothing that I need to do to make that Vairagya happen. So you see now, I will become compassionate to my wife and son and all that because I know they are also going like me, and I want them to go to a better realm of existence than just going somewhere else, right?
Right. That's true.
And that is how this compassion thing works. So when I see somebody is getting promoted from a human level of existence to a divine level of existence, I feel that joy. Wow, somebody has picked it up. Very nice. He is not going into this painful existence again. And if somebody is going to a animal realm of existence or to a hell realm of existence, I feel so bad that I could not help this person not to go there. Right? So that will happen. So there won't be any hatredness towards anyone, basically.
Yep.
And that is the beautiful change to have. So then this physical love will not be there at all. If I see any woman or girl or whatever it is, or any object, forget the girl thing, any object which looks attractive, you know that it is only 5 elements, so there is nothing to get attracted to anything.
Vishnu logo is also five elements only, right?
Everything is 5 elements. But that is better 5 element than this.
More subtler and purer 5 elements than this.
Yes. And it is long lasting.
Yeah.
But 5 elements is 5 element. What is the subtler 5 element?
But Padma Shri, you should have one realm of existence experience. You will really see how subtle things are.
No, but I can understand that one because, of course, I don't have it like you people. But then what I am saying is,
5 elements are 5 elements.
If it is already the same 5 elements, then it can't be so subtle at all because you cannot have either it should not belong to that 5 element or it should be as.
No, it's not like that, Padma Shri. You see, if you look at an animal, this is 5 element, but it is even more grosser than your body. You can check it out. It is the same 5 element.
Yeah, but the element, but when we are talking about the Panchabhuta, made up of that Panchabhuta, the element is the same, right? It is.
But the manipulation is different. The manipulation is different, and hence the longevity is different.
I think the elements by itself, the basic elements are pure.
Yes, the basic elements are pure. Consciousness is also pure.
So once it mixes, so I think even the sound and all these senses are created by mixing all these elements in some proportion for different beings.
Yes. Even the senses, if you really go on Divya, then you will see that the more purified, meaning the more disattached they become from the element, the more sensitivity they will become to all the realm of existence. But again, Padma Shri, just to clarify to you, even the senses are made out of 5 elements. But they are in different proportion, like what Lata is saying. And all elements by itself are pure.
For example, for sound, the space is more in proportion than the others.
Yes, that's correct.
Like that.
Correct. And that's the problem.
Now that is where the problem starts.
Yes.
Mixing up.
If they all become equal, then there is liberation. Finished. Or
then we should be able to see with the eye itself. You will be able to hear, see everything.
No, you will lose all of that. So they will become shunya. Nothingness will be the thing. Anyway, this is a good subject. You need to at least experience one of the senses. Then the Shanti will become definitely an experience. Okay, almost 10. Need to jump to another meeting now.
Yep, okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank you, Vilas.
Yeah, sure.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.